Thank you. I love that reference to from Bangladesh to Bhutan. They're actually next door to each other. I have the feeling that I spent 30 years commuting on the 803 between the respective capitals. Kathy, it's a real privilege to receive this in Dan's name. Having worked with him over many years, I feel deeply honoured. And I also feel thrilled that the citation picks up what I feel most passionately about in my work, which is that linking the doing with the challenging. And whether it's been in VSO, trying to train health workers, but at the same time feeling there was no point doing that without challenging the companies that were pricing antiretrovirals out of the range of the poorest countries, or in MenCap, trying to support disabled people to have opportunities, but knowing that together we had to challenge the stigma and the policies that were marginalising those people. Or in Oxfam, helping millions earn their way out of poverty, but also knowing that we had to challenge this rising and extreme inequality across the world, which was undermining all our efforts to eradicate poverty. Those are the kinds of weaves that I would like to be remembered for. As we together champion these causes, we don't expect to be always thanked or popular for doing it. We recognise that we have, though, to bear witness and to bring the reality of people's lives in front of those who have power, whether that's financial power, diplomatic power, political power, or any other sort. And I remember 2010-11, just after it was announced there was going to be a massive reform of the National Health Service, hearing a commentator who'd been a big critic of these reforms describe being invited in to see the minister to explain his case. And he got a bit nervous on the way and popped into the gents. And as he popped into the gents, he sat down in the cubicle, locked the door and read the graffiti on the wall. And it said, "Right now you're probably the only person in this building that really knows what they're doing. Don't hold back." That feels like it's got to be the challenge for all of us. We need a strong evidence base. We need to be respectful. We need to obey the law and the regulations. But we also need to push back in the appropriate ways when those rules or those laws feel like they're putting political convenience and comfort ahead of the very interests that we exist to serve. And as we do that, let's not be surprised that the press will challenge us back. We want to use the media to tell our story. They're not all going to agree with us. So we've got to make sure our own cause, our own organisations, our own leadership is spotless and can stand up to that kind of scrutiny. And let's also recognise that sometimes we're at our most powerful, not by the kind of leaders who are gathered in this room speaking, but by getting the right voices in front of that media, those politicians, or those business leaders. One of my most proud work moments this year has been having been asked to work in preparation for a big summit that was happening in Britain on Syria. I worked hard with civil society, with some really committed government leaders and civil servants on preparing for this conference. We held a range of different meetings together with a Syrian activist who Oxfam had brought over, a young, articulate, committed woman. She'd come over and joined us, and when the big moment came in front of world leaders at the event, Angela Merkel sat down and she stepped up to present our thinking. She talked with such passion, such power, in a way that one of us from the UK could never do. That when she eventually sat down, having explained to gathered world leaders exactly what they needed to do, how the world was looking at them to act, and what the reality of life on the ground was in Syria, she sat down eventually And Ban Ki-moon looked rather gobsmacked, said, well, thank you very much. After that amazing presentation, Secretary of State Kerry, could we just ask you to shorten your speech just a little? The voice of the people most affected, whatever our causes, are the voices we've got to bring to this particular set of challenges. And as we challenge, as we campaign, and as we do, we'll all play a different role in that. And I really thank you for honouring the role that I've played in that so far tonight. Thank you.